Hey guys, I'm Katie and my co-host here is Amber, and welcome to the Brown Girls Guide podcast where we discuss everything we wish we knew growing up.
Hey guys, and if you missed our last episode about colored accents in the workplace, please do go have a listen. It was a great, honest conversation about our insecurities as colored people from Cape Town and how prejudice against our accent has made us feel over the years.
That really was a great episode and conversation to have. It's not something we speak about openly, so it was a somewhat cathartic experience to chat about it here for our podcast. And it's a conversation we should continue to have in our social circles, so do go have a listen straight after this episode.
And it really did feel great to talk about it, and it was so encouraging to see so many of you resonate with it and share your personal experiences. So thank you for that. Your support for that episode is actually the reason for today's topic. We usually have a plan for each episode well ahead of time, but today we're doing things a bit differently. We had a whole episode recorded, but we decided to re-record on a different topic. So before we get into that, let's just do a quick check-in. So Kelly, how is Inside Kelly today, and are you sipping on anything for this re-recording?
Well, Inside Kelly is doing really well today. It is a Sunday. We're recording on a Sunday. We usually record on a Tuesday, but we are recording on a Sunday, and I've had a really good and relaxing weekend, which was much needed. We went away for the weekend. We did nothing. I read my book. We swam. We drank. We ate a lot of carbs, which we don't usually do. Pasta. We had bread. We had pasta on bread. Makes me very happy. Today, I'm sipping on Woolworths sparkling spring drink, ginger and lime flavored with no added sugar. It is preservative free and it is made with spring water. How are you, Amber? Are you sipping on anything today? And how is Inside Amber doing today?
That sounds so bougie. I'm sipping on Coca-Cola, the original one with the sugar. That's all I'm having today. Nothing from Woolworths. But Inside Amber is good. I also had a really nice weekend. I spent it with my mother and some of my best friends, and it was just nice to relax and just unwind. And yeah, now it's Sunday evening. It actually feels nice to record today because I don't feel that usual Sunday evening carte blanche dread, It's like we're actually doing something fun. So I think this is actually, a nice way to end my weekend.
I love the carte blanche dread thing because I think everyone can relate. Okay, on to today's topic. As Amber mentioned, the reaction to our previous episode made us relook at this week's topic. We had a whole episode already recorded about health and wellness, but then we decided to just change things up a little bit to discuss something that we have been feeling all week, which is imposter syndrome. It's just something that I've been feeling so strongly this past week. And Amber, when I asked you if we could change things up, you felt the same way. So here we are.
Yes, exactly. And for those who aren't sure about it, imposter syndrome basically refers to this internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be. Well, that's the definition according to a website called verywellmind.com. And guys, it's honestly something that Kelly and I have been feeling all week.
That's so true. And we appreciate your support so much, guys. And we are so thrilled and excited that this last episode was so well received. And it's clear that so many people relate to the topic. Having had such a great response to this episode has made me ask myself questions like, why are people listening? I don't have anything important to say. And sooner or later, they'll realize that we're just phonies and they won't actually want to listen anymore. So many negative thoughts.
I feel exactly the same. And it's so weird because the whole reason why we started this podcast is because we felt like we had things to say that other people, especially other women of color, could relate to and would want to hear more about and talk about. So why do we feel like imposters?
I really can't answer that question for you, but I can tell you that it's something that I have felt at so many points during my life, especially in my career. For example, we both received promotions this past week. Yay, us, well done to us. High fives, high fives. But there is still this voice in my head wondering, like, when our bosses will actually be like, actually, we were wrong about Kelly. She shouldn't have received a promotion because her work isn't actually that great and she doesn't work very hard.
That is so true. And I feel like I'm just waiting on the day one of my bosses say, you know what, psych. We actually don't think you're that good. It's crazy. And literally in this very same week that we got promoted, I posted a TikTok about how I celebrate every day I make it through without being fired. And it's not that I do anything that would warrant getting fired. It's just that I always feel as though one day someone's going to think I'm not as competent as they always thought I was.
I mean, I feel the same. And I just want to say quickly that it's not the jobs we have now or the bosses we have that make us feel this way. It's something that I have felt throughout my career. And I think that while many people feel it, women actually feel it more than men because society has told us for so many years and generations that a woman's place is not in the boardroom, at the computer lab, behind the telescope, in politics, or simply nowhere that allows women
Yeah.
to have ambition. I know that things are definitely changing and that's amazing, but I think a lot of damage has been done. And as a result, we feel imposter syndrome every time we even get an inkling of success.
And it's funny you should mention that women feel it the most. On that website that I mentioned earlier, it actually says that initially it was thought that imposter syndrome applied mostly to high achieving women. Of course, so many people feel it these days, even when we know we've worked hard to get the promotion, the recognition, and the support that we've received.
Do you find, though, that the more successful you are, the stronger that feeling actually gets? Because I feel that all the time.
Yes, and no matter how much work I do or how much praise I get or how many listeners we get on our podcast, that feeling kind of just stays there. It's always there. And obviously my anxiety doesn't help that either. And it's probably a big contributor to my feelings of imposter syndrome.
I'm sure it must be. I always feel like it just must be good luck or a fluke or something. I actually often say is that it's good timing, or I say something like, I'm sure someone else would have also thought of it, or I couldn't have done it without like so and so, or without it being a Tuesday, or whatever reason I give. I always attribute my success to like someone else or something else.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you mean. I do the same thing. But now that we've shown our listeners we both probably need some therapy to handle our issues, should we provide some tools for anyone else out there that might be feeling the same way? And just so you know, it's a lot of people. Apparently, up to 70% of people will experience this feeling of imposter syndrome at least once in their lives.
For sure. Okay, so for me personally, I try to remind myself how hard I've worked to get where I am today. I remind myself of all the work I've put into this career that I've built and the choices I've made to get here. In terms of this podcast, I always remind myself that it was actually born out of the fact that we knew for sure that people would relate to our topics and our discussions. So, of course, episodes that resonate will be more successful.
That's very true. And it's also good to remind ourselves that we work hard on producing and promoting this podcast. Like we plan ahead of time, record ahead of time, and give up personal time to make it happen. I find that to help me through feeling this way, it really does help to talk to others about it. Even now, just talking through it in this way is helping a lot. And I also give myself a pep talk from time to time, just to remind myself to not think these negative thoughts and that I actually do deserve good things happening to me. And sometimes I just go visit my mother because who doesn't make you feel as loved and as deserving of love and success like your mom does?
That's so true, because moms are the best. It's so tricky to sometimes just be nice to yourself, but moms are always there to pick you up and make you feel good about yourself. Well, for us at least, because I know that not everyone has a good relationship with their mom. But whether or not you do, it's also good to somehow try to change that voice inside your head that says you're a fake. If it's easier, perhaps write it down and reread it to yourself when you're feeling like an imposter. For example, if your imposter syndrome is always around your career and how well you've done, write down your qualifications, your big career obstacles that you've overcome, the big projects that you've managed, and big career wins. Then, when you need it, read it back to yourself as a reminder of how hard you've worked for your achievements.
That's actually a great idea and definitely worth trying. And for more information and help on other coping mechanisms, we'll of course drop some resources into the episode description and on our social media channels, which you can find on Instagram and Facebook at Brown Girls Guide Pod and on Twitter at BGG Pod. Oh, and also guys, you can now email us on info@browngirlsguide.co.za. If you're keen to get in touch, or even if you want to suggest future topics you'd like for us to unpack, and we are so keen to get guests on to interview about various topics. So if you have someone you're keen on hearing from, perhaps like a medical expert about certain issues, or maybe someone to unpack where to start if you want to invest or anything else, please do let us know.
For sure. We have a few great topic ideas coming up that would benefit greatly by having guests on to talk more about it. We can only really call on our personal experiences up to a certain point, and we know that we don't know everything and have all the answers. We're also just really interested in listening to other conversations about various topics that have nothing to do with us, and to turn this podcast into a platform that speaks about things that other women of color didn't know about when they were growing up or are currently going through.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And once again, thank you so much for your support. We really are so moved by it. And we hope this episode has been helpful in some way and that you've been able to take something away from it. And as usual, we'll chat again next week. Bye.
Bye.